Good morning, it's Brian. I'm back. It is the Art of Startup War. We are here talking to an incredible startup, and as all of you know, the only startups that we talk to are ones that we are investing in and that we absolutely love. This company is not only no different, but they are doing something incredibly interesting because they are crossing two of the most important areas we believe in technology today. One, cybersecurity. Two, blockchain. Both are being crossed, both are being connected to create an entirely new industry. I don't even know if we have a name for it, but there will be in the future. I am unbelievably excited about this company. We are so excited about this company, actually, that rather than talking about the usual $50,000 or $100,000, we're actually looking at $1 million investment into the company. We believe that within the next couple of years, this company is going to go through the roof, and we want to be a part of it, and we want to be able to make an investment in at that level. So I want to bring in Monica. She's going to talk all about the genesis of this idea and where it came from. She's going to talk about her partner, and then we're going to go deep into what you investors want to find out, which is what I know and you are going to know about where this company is going in the future. Monica, welcome.
Hello, hi Brian. Hello everyone. So glad to be here, and finally we made it to California. So I'm talking to you over from Portugal, but like my heart is with you for sure.
And I think very soon I see a distant future where, actually a very near future, where you will get a very large investment from an American VC where you'll hit like an A or a B. And I think it'll be really soon. I really think it'll be within the next 9, 12 months. And they may even say to you, please, Monica, please, David, can you come over here? Because if we're going to put $20 or $30 million in the company, we feel that there's tremendous opportunity in the US. What do you think? Do you think there's more opportunity for what you're doing? Because you're killing it in Europe right now. And we're going to maybe tease them a little bit with the numbers, but we're not going to give anybody the full numbers until the end. But you're absolutely murdering it. Is this what you expected to happen?
Yeah, actually, we've been working very hard on this company and on the product, on the platform, on the technical side. And we knew that over the past 3 years, there have been more than 30 people, whether developers, our mentors, really very educated individuals from universities, cybersecurity, top influential people in the industry, including CISOs, head of securities advising us. For example, one of our former advisors was ex-chief of NATO cybersecurity, cyber intelligence. And we knew, because we put so much effort into the product and the technical part, that it's just a matter of time when we finally will really rock it and start selling and start distributing our services all over the Europe. And we started in the most natural environment. So for example, myself and the other co-founder, David, the CEO, we both had like very long careers in tech and in cyber. And we used all our contacts and our ex-companies, our clients, and we just went and sold it to them.
I got to say, one of the things I love is that you're a female in cyber. It just, as a total random side, it's so refreshingly, incredibly brilliant to see a really strong female leader in the cyberspace. And I believe the investors will really get behind it as well, because it's just, you must see this yourself. There's very few females in your space, right?
It is very attractive to the for the investors, and it's also attractive for getting more and more women into this space. So I can tell you that our advisors, half of them are women, and also it is very important for us that we bring more girls, interns, employees, and we create this value opportunities for both genders. So women are amazing, and I totally support all the women who want to go into cyber, take trainings. Like, for example, I did myself. I started in tech. I worked nearly 10 years for AT&T, giant telecommunication company, where I was the executive for one of the largest, most important clients. I overseen the projects every month where we built more than $100 million. And then I just,
Wow.
I said like, wow, this is amazing. Telco is great. But you know what every company is struggling with? That's security, that's cyber. This is the industry which will grow exponentially over the next 10, 20, 50 years. And I just, I learned, I did lots of courses, certifications, and I went into this industry with a purpose. And purpose was really to bring something new, something innovative, which was missing there and which everybody wanted. So this is really the story behind me.
And your partner is also an absolute cybersecurity geek, right? He is right to the depths of cybersecurity. How
Mhm.
did you meet David, and how did you build this partnership? Because I see you both as an absolute force.
Mhm. That's true, Brian. And thank you for asking. So, David is the CEO. He's really amazing. He's the guru and the brain of the operation. He's a chief scientist officer as well. And he's in cybersecurity, I think, since he was really a teenager. He started as ethical hacker, and it's very unique to work with somebody who has the hands-on experience, who can code, who can bring product to life, but at the same time he built his career in an incredible way, where at the age of 30 he was a global CISO, so Chief Information Security Officer, for one of the most important companies like OCS Group with more than 100,000 employees.
That's
He was a
crazy.
CISO at London City Airport and other companies. And this incredible knowledge, which he has with hands-on experience, gave us that needed advantage compared to other, competitors and solutions out there on the market. So David brought really that technical expertise and the business expertise, the strategy, which he saw as a CISO, and then myself, I kind of bundle it together with the business experience, with the client relationship, and negotiations and building amazing products for companies nowadays. And this is how we really started. So our history is quite long. We actually were colleagues in AT&T, and then when we were living in London, we about 3-4 years ago, we thought like, hey, you know what's really missing in this world? There is distributed or blockchain-based security, and this is where I'm trying to get to, Brian. Is when I ask my friends, what do they think about blockchain? They said, what do you know about blockchain? And they're like, well, one of the first things which came up to their mind was security. So blockchain and security. And we realized that there is so little which was done covering both blockchain and security and having products and services which cover both. And to be honest, blockchain and cyberspace, it's like a perfect marriage. You cannot have better solution with better deep tech behind it.
And I want to go into your solution. I want all of the investors to see what we saw, which made this entire investment into you such an easy decision, but now and going forward. But just before I do, can we talk about cyber a little bit? I mean, we've invested in 5 cyber companies right now. And each of our cyber companies are doing well, and we watch the landscape very carefully. But it's also terrifying to watch cyber and to watch what's going on. And if we just break it down into a John Wayne movie, where we got the good guys and we got the bad guys, right? We got the guys coming into the town with their guns firing and they just want to shoot people. And then we got the sheriff and the 4 or 5 deputies. It seems like there's 50 bad guys coming into the town with guns shooting, and the sheriff's only got 2 deputies. And it seems to be getting worse. So, number one, how accurate am I with this? Like, how dire a situation are we in from a top level government, national, and then all the way down to enterprise problem? And then also, what does the solution look like as far as how we can actually get beyond that?
So this is very good question, and I have just one simple thing to say. The situation out there is serious. It's really critical. In fact, the world is losing about $6 trillion a year to fight cybersecurity damages, to fight those nation states attacks, or just the small hackers who are trying to steal some money out of your credit card. So the situation is really bad. And the problem which we see is that most technologies out there, they didn't really change or innovate in the last 30 to 40 years. They are selling the same products, kind of repackaged or rewritten with a very nice, slogans, but the technology behind it hasn't really changed. And another problem which we see is that the networks and our clients, they are growing exponentially. So in the past, when you had, for example, my clients, one of them was Apple, Kubota Tractor Company. They used to have all their employees sitting in one office somewhere in the US, somewhere in Boston or in New York, and everybody was connected on the same network, the company LAN, and everybody had just one computer, and we had a small data center, and it was very easy to manage. But nowadays, the things has really change. They're shifting. We are bringing incredible complexity. We are bringing all the IoT stuff. Everything has some digital component. We are bringing all the devices like your personal laptops to work. You are connecting not anymore just from your office, but you are working from your coffee shop, from your home, and that just creates huge potential attack surface for the attackers. So basically, in the past, when you had attack surface, which was maybe this small, now we see like this huge bubble, and all the companies are trying to protect huge bubbles of infrastructure, devices, cloud infrastructure, virtual devices, IoT, and it's literally impossible with the current technology. So what we are bringing distributed technology to protect distributed world. We are bringing blockchain to fight the problems like hackers, nation states attacks, ransomware, cyber malware, and all the other stuff which is out there. And this is really one of the hardest use case there is in blockchain, in technology. So I know so many of my friends and colleagues, they're doing a great job with the easy picks. I have a database, I'm going to distribute it, and I'm going to save their passwords or the private keys. And this is the use case, right? But what we are bringing here, it's really deep research based on cryptography, mathematics, and integrity, where at Naoris, we are bringing all the variety and complexity of the devices. We are bringing together hardware protection, like your personal computers, servers, to IoT stuff, plus all the virtual complexity which comes with cloud appliances, applications. And at Naoris, we have developed two key products. One is the Naoris Distributed Security Ecosystem, or NDSE, which creates distributed security across your whole company infrastructure. And the second product is the Endpoint Protection, or we call it XDR. So it's the Extended Detection and Remediation Security. And it's really fantastic. And I have to say, Ryan, that every single CISO and CTO who we show these products, they are like, wow, I want this. I want to try you guys. Or we just went straight away signing the contract.
Because I think the blockchain part of it is a pretty easy part to understand. It's like, okay, so the way companies used to work, or still do work, is that their data is in a round circle, a bubble, right? So all of the hackers, all of the bad guys have to do is just find a vulnerable point in that bubble. And then once they're in. Like, they can then play in the system and do whatever they want to. That's the problem with a network which has a king or a queen at the top, and then everything distributes directly through to the king or the queen, right? You have that, you just need to find the place of vulnerability, and then you go, and the king and the queen die, and then everything dies with it, right? Or you kill the oak tree because you go for the trunk. The beautiful thing about blockchain is because it's entirely distributed, the king and the queen are irrelevant. They just sit there looking at the real business happening. And even if you can break in to one small part of the chain, it doesn't matter because you're not touching any of the other things that are happening there. So I think it's a pretty easy sell to say, even though it's new, is that this is the only way we can survive. There's actually no choice here. You can have a choice and say, I'm going to use Naoris or I'm not going to, but you can't have a choice to say, I want to stay with a system where all you have to do is find one area of vulnerability and you can destroy my entire system. You just can't do that, right? And then the other area that I saw, which was a really big problem before, is that everybody's working on different levels of the stack. So nobody's working on the whole problem. People are saying, well, I'm going to work on wired, or I'm going to work on wireless, or I'm going to work on point of entry, or I'm going to work on vulnerability. So because there are all of these different areas, then you're only as strong as the weakest link that you have within your entire cybersecurity solution. So can you maybe speak a little bit to that and to either A, maybe they're not as important as I'm making them out to be, or B, if they are, why what you're doing is going to be so important, and then again, what else is being layered in on top that's going to help those organizations?
Yeah, that's really great how you describe it, because this is what we are really fighting against. We are fighting against one little device being the entry point for the attacker or hacker. So as you said, your company or your network is as strong as their weakest point. And this is what we see. But with Naoris, we are bringing all these devices on a blockchain where all these devices will create army, in a way, a legion of nodes where every single device at a company or at the enterprise level will protect and verify the integrity and the security of each other.
Amazing.
So you are shifting from 100,000 of vulnerabilities where the attacker can choose every single device with various entry points, whether that's your browser, your mail, or your application, SAP, ERP, whatever. And we are shifting from that, from protecting every single device, where we say, you will use all your devices, all your network, all your infrastructure actively, and all of that will be behind your back, protecting and taking care of each other. So we are using the best parts of a blockchain and saying that you will be as secure as you are, as big as you are. And the beautiful thing about blockchain really is that as the companies grow, the more secure they become. As the companies become more complex, the more secure they become. And this is really a paradigm shift nowadays in cybersecurity. So this is what we are bringing. And of course, I've been speaking a little bit in simple terms, but what's really behind this is a deep technology. It's mathematical algorithms, AI, and of course, cryptography, which is backing all of these transactions. For example, we collect on every day millions of data points or metadata from all the endpoints, and plus we correlate them with 18 million of data sources from open and closed sources online. So it's really a huge complex operations behind this. It sounds simple, but trust me, it took us 3 years, and it's so hard for any vendor out there to get into there, to have both the blockchain knowledge and the cyber knowledge. And it's so hard to get in there. And I really feel so proud that David and myself, and plus the team of advisors and mentors, we have just cracked that, and we are there at the stage where we are just able to get it, sell it, and just secure literally everybody, whether you are working on your Mac, Linux, Windows, whether you are just having cloud servers. We are just able to go and use the technology in the best way and create hyper secure environments.
And it's funny. I remember one of the first calls when I was talking to you about what are the biggest challenges that you have. And you said it's invoicing. I just don't have time. We have so many companies looking to do business with us right now. And I kind of had this image of you being the only ice cream shop in a city and everybody coming in for ice cream, and you're saying, really, we know we have the best and only ice cream in the city, but you just have to wait. Like right now, you're in this fantastic space. You're bringing on incredible clients. Your clients love what you're doing. You're scaling like crazy. Every time we have a conversation, you talk to me about a higher MRR, a higher monthly recurring revenue that's going to come through. But it can't have always been this easy. Can you maybe take us through some of the more challenging parts at the beginning of the journey? Because I think from an investor perspective, you know, I had this great conversation with Ben over at NEA once where Ben said, look, companies are one of two things. They're either rocket ships or they're glaciers. That's it. And if it's a rocket ship to the moon, then the resilience of the founders is still really important, because rocket ships still go off course every now and again, and you got to keep them on course. So a lot of those early learns from when you left AT&T, I would love to know a little bit about that early part of the journey, and especially some of the challenges that yourself and David faced as you decided to take this pure concept, which was absolutely new in the cybersecurity space. Like nobody else was going in this direction. Even people in blockchain, look, I've been around blockchain for 5-6 years. Even 2 years ago, people were still talking about blockchain as a nice to have, a maybe, an unimplementable system, as something that might come in the future. Now that's all changed today. And today everybody is going and they are developing and they're going like crazy to implement blockchain strategies. But speak a little bit about the challenges of that time before we were in this time.
Yeah, that's a good question, because indeed there were so many challenges and obstacles which we had to deal with. First of all, it's incredibly hard concept. I mean, every deep tech or cybersecurity solution, you have to protect your IP and you have to say things in a way that nobody can figure out how you are doing stuff, so they are not able to copy. So this was one of the things. But at the very beginning, I remember when I left AT&T, what I missed the most were my colleagues and people. I'm very much people oriented, and all those clients, and I had always hundreds of colleagues. You know, I had a team of 50 people in billing. I had 100 people in shared services as project managers. I had people who took care of the customer networks. I had like these huge teams of people, and I could just reach out to them and everybody was available all the time. So me as a founder, when I woke up one day, I kind of realized that, you know what, at the beginning, there is just me and David, the CEO, I'm the COO. And you know what? I have to step up the game. I have to learn about contracts. I have to learn the marketing. I have to learn so many things. And I kind of used the info when I was studying, you know, the master's in business, and I have a degree in media and marketing. And I thought like, gosh, I would never ever use them. But believe me, I was researching like, hi, how do you do business plan? How do you do the calculations? How do you do your projections? Because in the past, really, I missed people. There was so much knowledge in AT&T, but this was like one of the hardest things which we had to overcome. Really, with David, it was supporting the company, the product development with limited resources and limited finances. So for us, it was very important. And I think the best thing that we were able to raise the pre-seed round last year, where we got finally the validation that Startup Chile, Corfo, Family Office and Accelerator in Canada, they invested in us, and we are able to hire people, grow the team. And this was like really incredible to overcome the first no. And then really, like you said, blockchain nowadays, nobody is questioning DLT or distributed ledger technology. Nobody is questioning, is this technology useful? Are we going to use it? Everybody is hungry and everybody is rushing to implement it in their business, right? So we are right there at the peak where we don't have to explain what is blockchain, how it works. We just say, look, blockchain brings security, immutability, it brings resilience to your business, and we are using it to secure your company. And with us, you will be hyper secure, hyper resilient, and we will grow with you. As you will grow, we will support your business, and the more secure you will become. And this is like the biggest unique selling point which we have compared to the current vendors.
And then you validated it with absolute truth. The only truth there really is in startup, which is the reaction of your clients to your product, because you launch the product to the market, you put it out to the clients absolutely love it. Maybe speak a little bit about the client relationship that you've started to build, and then where that's going to go in the future. And then I want to talk a little bit about the funding as well.
Okay, great. So regarding the clients, it's really so much important to us that our clients are really our ambassadors, and these are clients who are able to support us, recommend us to their groups. And in fact, we are growing in 3 big industries. One is fintech, the second one is healthcare or services, and the third one are industrial clients. So in fintech, we are working with clients from kind of mid to lower enterprise segment. We have Canadian banks, we have large broker companies, we have companies who are focusing on insurance, and then we have clients in healthcare, like hospitals and private clinics or public bodies, and then we have industrial clients who have totally different kind of IT infrastructure behind it, but they are very concerned with nation state attacks, and they have very old legacy systems, which is very hard to protect nowadays. So one unique thing which I would like to highlight is that we are very flexible, and we are able to jump from device operating system from one to another, from one industry to another one. But we really want to focus on these 3 where we see the most traction. And all of our clients, or majority of our clients, are multi-billion-dollar clients. Some of them have more than 100,000 employees. We have signed LOIs to protect 30,000 devices globally for one client, for example. And
how exciting, right?
The size or the ticket size of our clients is on average, I would say, about $200,000 for the 12-month contract. So every time we sign clients, we really see it in our cash flow and in our revenues. So we are really working with large, important clients. But in the future, we really want to scale up and also work with smaller businesses as well. For example, we just explored a contract with an insurance company in America where we're just exploring this, but there is a huge opportunity for clients if you have a small shop or you are medium kind of retail factory or whatever. If you would have Naoris as one of your tools to protect you from cybersecurity, you would pay less in cyber insurance, you would pay less for other services. So we are really exploring these large contracts.
Ooh.
And another contract which we are exploring is working with smart cities across Europe. And this is so exciting, Brian, because we know that municipalities are really lacking on the newest technology, and they're always behind. And despite of this, they're managing all of our data. They're managing data of you, me, our families, and it's really critical, sensitive data. So what they're looking for is to work with innovative, new technologies. And I want to say that currently we're exploring a partnership with 9 municipalities in Europe. For example, some of them is City of Venice, City of Rijeka in Croatia, and the others, where Naoris would be a lead provider to protect the citizens' data, GDPR data, as we call it. It's a very big thing here in Europe, and to provide that needed edge to be finally better, I would say, for municipalities and our towns and the cities to be finally better than the corporations. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, and you can hear it in your voice, and I could hear it in your voice. I remember the first few phone calls we had. Like the first phone call, I was like, "Okay, great. What have we got?" And you're like, "Oh, we're doing really well. We have like $50,000, $60,000 a month coming in." And then we'd have a phone call a few days later, and we'd go, "Oh, Brian, I can't talk. We've just jumped up by another $30,000 or $40,000. And then a week later, it's like, we can't talk. We've just jumped up by another. And now like you're exponentially growing, and you can hear the excitement in your voice and the anxiety in your voice because you're growing so fast and you've had such great response that you have to be thinking, I need to raise, because you've done so much with so little. I want to preface it with this. The majority of companies that we see break through in the way that you are with the revenue that you're driving, those companies have raised an awful lot more money. They've raised 3, 5, 8, even $10 million rounds just to get to the place that you're at right now. You didn't. You raised a tiny amount of money and you focused everything on your product. And then your clients all referred other companies to you, which meant that your marketing costs were really low. I mean, I'm sure your degree is great, but your product is so good that you actually don't need it. Your clients are coming through to you. I really love the focus on the verticals that you're going after, though. But the other thing that was really funny for me was at the beginning, I thought, I love this company. I love these founders. I love all of this deep domain expertise. I love the growth. I love where the company is going. And I adore the solution, which is blockchain meets a whole new level of crypto, a whole new level of cyber, because it's time. We've been putting band-aids on problems for far too long. It is time for us to approach this from an entirely different angle. But you know what was disappointing for me? Can I tell you my biggest disappointment in our entire interaction right from the very beginning? Is that I came in
I'm
and I
ready
thought,
for this. Tell me.
yeah, this is a big disappointment for me. This is a big disappointment for my ego, because I came in and I thought, I can help these people because I have phenomenal contacts. I can't really help them scale because they are rocket ships already. We'll give them ideas and we'll bring them into places and we'll help them come into America. But genuinely, I already know when someone's going to make it anyway, with or without me, right? I am privileged that you brought me in on the journey for that part, but I feel I can help other people more than you because you guys are so good already. But I was sure I could help you with the investment. I know they're going to need our expertise. And then every time I call you, you say, well, we have another investor that are really interested and they're going through due diligence. And yeah, they're a really good investor in that space. So now I have to go like 4 times faster just to find an investor for you so I can feel like I've done something to help. You're making my life very difficult by being an overachiever, and I'm not pleased, okay?
Well, these are good problems to have, in my opinion. And, like, beautiful thing which you are talking about is like you have incredible name reputation in fundraising, and the best VCs in the US. And I think Naoris is ready for it. That's the fact, that's the truth statement. And the same way as you are so good at knowing the best people, best players amongst the VCs, we are really very good with clients, I have to say. And because of our expertise and our history, we were able to grow so quickly because David and I, we just pick up the phone, even our ex-companies, and said, hey guys, do you want to schedule a POC with us? And they're like, yeah, let's work together. Let's have a paid project. Let's do the implementation. So we did the same. So over the past months, we grew so fast because we utilized our kind of careers and the context which we had. And I think many startups, unfortunately, they do not have that because I know and I really wish them all the best. But many of the founders nowadays, they're just straight out of university or they drop out of high school and they have this amazing great idea and concepts, but it really takes a long time to go into the market and to have the tool, the product ready so you're able to sell it. And I think we are really good at this together with David.
Phenomenal.
And we are looking forward to work with talented people like you are, like Expert Dojo, but also in the future, we are actually going to partner with technology advisors and companies like Microsoft, Google, who already expressed interest to resell our technology. So our focus really in the future is not just to rely on us, but to grow fast, to sign up with value-added resellers and cybersecurity resellers who are able to incorporate us into their portfolio and resell. And I'll give you, just to close this talk, one example. last year, by end of the year, when you called us and you said, well, guys, you're so busy. We were working with the Startup Chile, which is, by the way, top 10 in the list of top 10 accelerator in Forbes. And they had this challenge with their national public provider in telecommunication called Ento. And we signed up for this challenge as one of the innovation companies, and we won. So by end of the last year, we received these huge opportunities to work and to integrate directly with the Chilean national telco provider, Ento, and sell and to work together on a huge contract for 5 million clients and users in South America. So I'm totally excited about that, and I'm really sorry that we kept you waiting. But I think now is the good time and the right time to scale up in the US. And as a Portuguese company, we are in the progress of opening a US entity. And I hope that, we can see us in person very soon.
We're going to have you over very soon. And look, and I want to finish on my side of it with a really serious point that I will say to all other investors out there. I believe that sometimes VCs have to have a great eye to see the companies that are really going to break through. And I think sometimes we only need to have an average eye. In this case, it's so obvious what you're doing that if anybody listening to this podcast said to me, I would like to do a bet with you, Brian, for $1,000 that this company will not do $1 million a month in revenue by next year, by the end of next year, I would take that bet. That's how strongly I believe in you. I think this is going to be your year to fly. I think we're going to get the most phenomenal VCs in the world. I think we're going to raise a ton of money. We're going to use that money to build up phenomenal client traction. And then we're going to do a really big raise towards the end of this year or the beginning of next year. I believe you're going to be one of the fastest growing companies in your sector in the world, not even in the US. That's how bullish I am on where you're going to. I couldn't be happier that we're aligned with you and we're going to do fantastic things. Hey, could you finish off, Monica, please, and share with everybody your email address so people can contact you? And then I also want VCs and angels, by the way, if you have companies, founders, and you've got those companies have grown, maybe they're at C or D, and you need to have the right solution in place for cybersecurity, I also want you contacting Monica and David for that as well. So just your email address and then also just how the website URL.
Thank you so much, Brian. So let's do it. And you can contact us or contact me directly at the email admin@naoris, NAORIS.com. And I will personally make sure that I will answer all of your emails. So thank you so much, Brian. And we are up for it, up for the challenge. Let's do it together and let's make the next year, like you said, the year of exponential growth and the year of success. And this is how I see it with all the stuff which we have behind and the bricks which we have laid already on the foundations. They're all there. So let's just build the whole house. And I think we are really ready.
Beautiful. And that's a wrap.